Just when America has reached a breaking point with division, visionary influencer Danni Benson's I'm Proud of You Sis bro movement taps into the pulse and heartbeat of a culture radically torn. But this loving mom's voice of reason and calm has received national recognition.
How'd you balance having your children and always traveling with the Yankee organization?
When I became a dad, I said that I would always love like a mother.
I feel like I have to try certain things or act a different way because I know some people or some kids.
So join Danni Benson as she celebrates her special guests on her show and highlights their gifts and contributions to our world.
Hi! Hi, everyone. My name is Danni Benson. I am host of I'm Proud of You Sis. How are you doing today? Please like, share, subscribe, follow, comment. You know, I need to hear some encouragement out here if I'm doing a great job, not doing a great job, any advice you would give me. But I'm so happy for everyone who is joining me right now. Okay, I know. I just want to let you know, I love this topic today. It's called Self-Love Will Save You Every Single Time. And basically, it's about knowing your worth, knowing that even if you're down in your luck, doesn't mean that it's going to be forever. You have to be optimistic. You have to push yourself forward. People love the underdog, you know, because the story is within the struggle. The story produces a triumphant. So I have a woman here. I am so proud of her, sis. Her name is Anna Nyakana. She's a 2-time best-selling author. She's an award-winning speaker, motivational speaker at that. She's a producer, host, songwriter, singer. And I wanted her to come on because her journey through all of this will give anyone who feels like this is it. No, it's never it. You know how they say it, like the fat lady, it's not over until the fat lady sings. So even if you're going through life and there's a downturn, understand you could take that opportunity to turn it into a win for you. So everyone, I want everyone to meet Anna. Hey Anna, how are you?
Peace, Danni. How you feeling?
I'm good. Look how gorgeous you look.
You're gorgeous too, sis. You're gorgeous too. And one small correction, it's Anna Nyakana. We're gonna get there though. We're gonna get there.
Anna Nyakana. You know what I'm thinking about? A Peter Potty Potter. What's that? Was that Lion King?
What's that? Oh, probably from the Lion King. Let's go.
Yeah, that song, right? Only because
it's definitely poetic. Thank you for having me on the show. I'm excited to be here.
Okay, I'm excited to have you to give your flowers. I am so proud of you, sis. We have something in common. We are about mental health for our children.
Yes.
Because this mental health is just really at an all-time high right now. And me and you are in this mission to save our babies, save the children, so we can have a future that we can all be proud of. Because one day we're going to be old and we have to hand it to them, and we want these kids to be capable.
Exactly.
Because it's so stressful for us now, so I can't even imagine the stress it will be when our kids become our age. So please, you have an amazing story. I want people to look at you as an inspiration. Please, let's start at your childhood beginnings.
My childhood beginnings began humbly in Berlin, Germany. My father and family is from Uganda, southwestern Uganda, so all my Banyankoli stand up. And I really grew up in such a utopia where I had all the resources available to me, whether it's education, healthcare, anything that the family structure needed. And then we had this dream to move to America, and everything sort of went downhill from there. I ended up growing up in the projects in Stamford, Connecticut. They no longer exist because they were bulldozed. That's how horrible they were, and then gentrified and replaced. Yeah, I grew up in an environment that failed me. I went to a school that failed me and teachers that simply didn't believe in me. I was an immigrant who didn't know the language. I was a child that was so unique that I underwent so much bullying because I was different. And instead of anyone taking the time to get to know me and truly understand me, they gave me hate. Yet as I started journeying and healing the younger version of myself and loving myself and claiming my life and who I am here to be and what I'm here to complete for the youth and for the communities, I realized that anyone who ever failed me was simply failing themselves, right? Anyone that wasn't taking the time to give me an encouraging word or care to find out how I am doing, how I am assimilating in society, was simply still trying to figure it out for themselves. You know, we're all journeying here. We all need to give one another grace, but also give that grace to ourselves. So from such humble beginnings to who I am now, the chiefess of the Niyah Zuri Nation. So shout out to the Niyah Zuri Nation.
Yay!
Hey.
Shout out, shout
Shout out to
out.
the Niyah Zuri Nation. You know, my life story is what birthed my purpose. Niyah Zuri, which means beautiful purpose in Swahili. I created it beginning with literacy and then empowering the youth, taking over schools, taking over conference rooms, taking over a bus stop near you, wherever, whenever a word is needed. I wish someone would have told me I had value. I wish someone would have told me I was worth their time, whether it was in my school or whether it was in my community. I wish I could have seen incredible women such as you and I here representing, giving women a voice, giving mothers a voice, yet essentially letting our youth know that we're here for them. You know, there's so many kids that don't even get an I love you at home. I believe in you, or even a what's happening with you, right? So this is what I'm here to do, and this is the impactful work that I do each and every day.
Oh my God. You know what? You said it so right, because I just want to know how you found the power to know that you were valuable because people weren't saying it to you. What did you find within your soul to know, like, they're wrong?
You know, I continue to undergo suffering. I
Mm.
continue to undergo suffering through my adolescence and my young adult years. And I came to a very dark space in my life where I finally had to make a choice. I had to make a choice to claim my life. And I had to make a choice that the factors and the things, the abuse, the oppression around me did not define me. That what I was going to choose in those moments to become and what I was going to choose in those moments was essentially myself was going to define me. And when I made that clear pivot in my life, well, that's when everything shifted. And then as I continued on and ended up starting my own family, I have two beautiful young sons, 5 and 8 years old. So shout out to Judah and Osiris, who will see this later on.
Yeah,
I said, gotta
and
be
so
more.
proud of mommy, by the way. I know they're so proud of
Oh,
mommy, by the way. And you're
they
raising these
are.
sons to be good men to their
Yes.
future wives.
That part, right? I get to choose my daughters. That's what I always say.
Yes, yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Yet, you know, later on in life, I had to make another clear choice because I was in corporate America. I'm head of household, so I'm doing what must be done. However, I knew that there was more to life. I knew that gray cubicle wasn't just it, right? The grinding and getting up every day and dropping my kids off to a daycare with strangers all day while I'm over here grinding it out and making money for a system that doesn't care about me, that essentially is just assigning me an employee ID number but doesn't care about if I'm fulfilling my life's purpose, what I'm here to do. I knew I had a calling on my life, right? So here we go with Niyah Zuri. I had this crazy idea to write a story, right? My story, to bring culture and diversity to the classroom. Because I was realizing that a lot of the adversity that I underwent stemmed from the fact that we don't know ourselves here in the West. We have been disconnected from the truth of who we are and who we have the potential to be. That we have created every legacy. And from that, the world has been born from us, right? Yet this
Yep.
is a knowledge that has been stripped away intentionally. So we become a lost people, right?
And we
And
don't know our power. We don't know our power. They stripped away our power.
right.
But my mama always told me your power is always within you. No one can really take it away from you. You just gotta
Mm,
find it. Just like what
yeah.
happened with
Yeah, we give
Wizard
it
of
away.
Oz.
We
Yeah,
so
yeah.
easily to give it away.
Just like what happened in the Wizard of Oz. You remember when it's like a fairy tale story, but you remember the witch said, the power is always in you. You just
Mm,
needed to find it. And I that gives me shivers because my mom used to tell me this
mm.
all the time. Like the power is in you. And just hearing you speak right now, your light is your power. Oh my
Thank you, my love. Thank you.
girl.
I've done the work though. I've done this transformational work. You know, it's a dedication to loving myself every day. It's a dedication to me becoming my highest self, right? We shouldn't be in competition with one another, especially as
No.
women. We should only be competing with ourselves to
Selves.
become our highest self.
Yes.
So when you ask me, oh, Anna, how did this journey come about? What was it that got you to this point? It was the fact that I underwent so much suffering. I had a greater amount of source energy to pull from, to then transmute into launching myself into becoming who I am. Yet I really had to claim my life. You know, there's so many people just going through things, not actually experiencing anything,
I know.
and feeling that things are just being thrown on them versus realizing the things that are happening to you aren't just happening to you. They are happening for you. Yet it takes a certain shift in your mind to claim that for yourself. And once you realize it's happening for you, it's like, okay, well, I must need to grow in this area, or this must be a relationship or a situationship I need to look at differently. Maybe this is more attachment versus connection. Maybe I need to unburden myself from some of this weight in my life, right? Generationally, we get like caught in these loops.
Yes.
From family, from society.
Generational trauma. We can't, sometimes people
Generational
can't break
trauma.
it. That's all they see. That's all they know. But there's something outside of that. And I always tell
Yes.
people that there's something always outside of that. And you have to
Of
go
course.
look for it.
Yes.
Sometimes it doesn't come to you. You got to go find it.
You got to go take it.
Yes.
You got to go take it and understand that that's your birthright. No one else is entitled to your life except for you. Yet we're over here giving it away to everybody except for taking it for ourselves and molding it into what we want it to be. I'm not going to sit here and give you some Disney fairy tale that tell it that it is a complete falsity that everything went right for me in my life. So much went wrong that I had to choose to make it right. So much was going left. I had to become activated in my life. And that's what I'm here to do, to activate every youth, activate everybody that's ready to claim their life, like really like spark that within yourself so you don't wake up one day and your whole lifespan is over and you have nothing to show for it for yourself. We can't take things with us. We can't take money with us. We can't take anything materialistic with us. All we can take is the impact of what we have left here. You know how Maya Angelou says, well, people may not remember what you say and do, but they're always going to remember how you made them feel. Let's go.
Yes.
Right? And that's my passion. That's my purpose. But the
and that
Niyah
is
Zuri
your
movement.
legacy. That is your legacy, because that legacy
Absolutely.
lasts longer than all the materialist stuff you could just collect.
Absolutely. One day I was literally sitting around. I'm like, man, why isn't anybody doing this? Man, why isn't anybody doing that? Why hasn't someone thought of figuring this thing out or figuring that thing out? And finally I was like, oh, no one's done it because it needs to be me. It's in my mind. It's in my spirit for a reason. Instead of me asking the question or complaining about the problem, I'm going to choose to become the solution.
Yes, do something about it, right? Maybe that is your purpose. Like, everyone has a purpose. Everyone comes in this life with a purpose. Some people find it, some people don't. Some people find it later, some people find it sooner.
Right.
But it's not for what other people can do. You find out what you can do. Because if you can change your effect of your change will affect others.
Absolutely. Even just holding that in your representation, who it is, right? Seeing women such as us on a screen or hearing our voices on a podcast and understanding the journey of what we went through. I mean, this interview could go on for hours if I really delved if I really delved deep, right?
But I definitely want to
have you tearing up with a box of Kleenex.
I definitely want you to drop gems for the people out there who has lost hope. Because I meet them lost hope, and they're just basically just going with the flow. Like, basically the wave is just pushing them. They're not actually doing the pushing themselves. I want you to give hope to those people to stop just going with the flow and be the flow.
I love that. Be the flow. We all felt hopeless at one time or another.
Yes.
We all thought that it was over. Yet the end is not the end, right? There is always a way to start a new beginning. And I feel that every time I go through a situation where God is breaking me down, it's so then I can choose to build myself up, leaning on the lessons, not feeling that I have gained all these losses, but realizing that every loss is actually a lesson for me to apply into the next stage. I'm not going to take step A, B, C again. I'm going to take D, E, F. I'm going to make an adjustment here. I'm going to pivot there. I'm going to be mindful and aware and discerning of the things that I'm doing, right? My actual intentions and actionability every day. It's not over till you say it's over, right?
It's not over until you're dead.
Listen, exactly. And even that part, I'm coming back in the next life because I got more work to do personally. Right?
Amen.
Absolutely. But anytime I felt hopeless, anytime I felt like I was going through a season, You have to understand like that pruning process. That's the only way for you to actually grow. It may not feel good. It may be painful to your spirit, it may be painful to your mental. And even those around you, your children, your family can be feeling the effects of what you're going through. Yet you have to understand that when you feel like you're going through something, you have to choose to grow through it, right? How are you going to blossom? How are you going to open those petals when you get through that other side and you get those rays in for yourself? But everybody wants the results without the effort. The growth thing, that is the effort. The results is the bountiful abundance that you can spotlight and share with others. Yet you have to be dedicated to your life and dedicated to yourself. And I will tell you this once again, circling back to the understanding of suffering. I feel like those that are given the largest amount of suffering are those that are actually the most blessed. We are broken time and time again, and yet we're still here. We are so resilient. We were talking about power, not giving away your power. Most power is not even understood until it is tried and tested, right?
Amen.
So if you're continually feeling tested, understand that you have such a magnitude of power within you that may have not even been activated yet until you have gone through yet another level of suffering. Yet every level that you feel that is pulling you down to such a depth, once you get through that and you stand faithful and you are obedient, you are propelled. It's like a slingshot. Just when you feel like it's going to snap, ting,
Yeah.
you are propelled to such a height. Yet you have to know this for yourself. You have to know that you are worth your own efforts.
No, I mean, and that's what we try to do when we talk to the kids.
Yeah.
We want them to know early on, when sometimes you see children and people, they feel like they're not seen, feel like they're not heard.
Yes.
Little children come with early purposes too,
Oh, absolutely.
It's not,
And I
don't
feel
get
like
your purpose
this
when
world
you're like
tries
a
to
teen.
distract them and dismantle them off their course, and eventually they get broken down and become these broken adults with all these issues, right? Let's keep the child whole. Let's not just encourage them. Let's give them a blueprint. Let's give them something they can follow. Let's be the representation for them that they can actually emulate, because we know children learn more from what they observe than what they even listen. They have a very short attention span. Okay,
But they
yeah,
remember what they see though.
they remember what they see.
They
Right?
remember, and they won't say
Absolutely.
nothing, but they remember, and they'll call you out on it too.
They'll
At
keep
the
us in
most
check for
givenest
sure.
of time, they'd be like, wait, mama. I'd be like, oh, okay, you got it. But okay, so let's talk about your story. Let's talk about the author of you writing your books,
Yes.
because when I read those type of books, it gives me hope that even if the kids are not getting it from home, you could feel that they're getting it from reading your books.
Oh, thank you. So the Niyah Zuri series, Niyah Zuri and the Pharaoh's Throne, Niyah Zuri and the Mayan Eclipse, I wrote them to be that solution. There was nothing being taught in the curriculum when I was growing up here in the States that was telling me about myself. Everything I learned from my own culture that I brought here. But all of my friends that were so lost, even the ones that used to bully me that then became my friends later in life, they didn't have any source of identity. They didn't know where they came from. They didn't know the legacies that they sprang from. And when you don't have a strong enough source to pull from, well, you're going to believe the lie. So I created the difference. I created the Niyah Zuri series so every child, especially children of color, can understand that they are the first philosophers, the first astronomers, the first doctors, the first artists, the first of everything, that we have birthed this entire world. And when you understand that you come from millennia and millennia of history, rich history, then you won't believe the indoctrination that is trying to tell you otherwise, that you just come from 400 years of trauma, that your people are only good enough to jump a fence or float on an inner tube, and that's the extent of who you are in your rich history. That's all a lie. So I created these books and then took it a step further and created curriculums, because once again, I'm like, no one's doing this. Even if anyone has any books that have diversity and that are teaching actual history, how are we changing the curriculum of what's actually being instructed in our classroom? So after I asked the question long enough, I started creating them myself. And that's what I do. I create curriculums and I take over these schools and I facilitate and I empower the youth. I empower them to know themselves so they can grow. I walk them through all sorts of areas such as music theory and education, or songwriting, or kidpreneur, but start your own business at your age, right? Whatever it is to encourage you to begin now, because you have more to stand on. And then I didn't stop there. I had a crazy idea. Once again, I said, Well, we have all these digital screens, you know, and Chromebooks and iPads and all these things that are in school, trying to distract our kids or trying to give them, once again, information that they may not be already, you know, ready and prepared for. Where's the educational content? Where's something to help parents or grandparents at home when their kids are not in school? And hence the world of Niyah Zuri was born. And that I just released a few months ago, the animated short film accompanied by the soundtrack, The World of Niyah Zuri, once again, to give positive messaging and high frequency music that'll recondition the mind, that'll have you feeling great, that'll bring more cultural sounds from the East here to the West. Everything is connected. So to some people that don't know me, they're like, oh, well, Anna does a lot. She does a lot of things. She has all these different lanes, yet all of the lanes that I've created, everything points to the youth. I don't play about the youth. And I wish someone would have taken that time to not play with me. I wish someone would have created resources for me. Once again, giving me their time, letting me know I was valuable, letting me know that I had options in life instead of what just my environment was telling me based on my zip code or based on the fact if I was like a free lunch kid and that was going to, you know, that was going to solidify what my future was going to look like. No one is going to limit or restrict my future. That belongs to me. That's my entitlement. That is for me to claim and to mold and build for myself. Yet, if you don't have a blueprint to show you what's even possible, how can you even architect your life?
And you know what? You were so right. Because when I see the youth, when I see the young kids starting in first grade, no one can tell you what you're going to become. Only you can tell yourself what you're going to become.
Absolutely.
Everyone outside of that is just noise. I tell my kids all the time, you were born with a map within you.
Woo,
Listen to what the map is telling you. Regardless, yes. I'm your mom and I'm supposed to direct you. I say, listen to the map because I'm here to help you.
Yes.
So I tell my kids, they're like, Mommy, but I don't want to do this. And I say, okay, first of all, I tell my children I am not perfect. So I want you to understand that Mommy didn't come with a manual. And so I am doing the best that I can to direct you. So I'm saying this because I love you. But if something is in your soul is telling you something else, please communicate that with me.
Absolutely.
And I will listen to you. And it's not disrespectful to you to listen to your child, right?
No, I learned so much from being present with my kids. They are very tapped in. They will drop a gem on me. I remember one time during one of my son's birthdays, I was like, oh, it's your born day. You know, it's Mommy's birthday because I gave birth. He's like, Mommy, well, happy birthday to you because I gave birth to you. And in that moment, I said, you did give birth to me because you rebirthed me, right? I didn't even tap into my possible power until I really became a mother. I tapped into a whole nother level, a whole nother super level that we didn't know was like laying there dormant. But when you're present with your children, they will really rock your world with understandings that we have been far removed from because they see things without filters. They see things for what they are.
You know what? Your son is right. In a way, he is right because he birthed you because in him choosing you, he chose you as part of his purpose. Like he said, okay, I get, oh my God, how old is your son who said that? Because I get what he's saying. Like, no, Mommy, I birthed you because I picked you. Okay. Now you're going to help guide me into my purpose. Like you're going to get me here and get me where I need to go. So now I rebirth you into having another purpose.
There we go. Everything turns up when I became a mother. Everything, right? Everything is more on the line. That's when I chose to leave corporate America and go full time into what I'm doing. I didn't have some sort of cheat code. I didn't have a big sponsor that wrote me $1 million check. God is my sponsor, right? I took my whole 401k out and put everything into my purpose because there was no doubt that this wasn't going to come to fruition, that every vision or any idea that anybody ever said was crazy because it made them uncomfortable was not going to come to be. I was going to remain dedicated.
Kids need to understand that. Kids need to understand that because I'll hear adults say to them, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this. Or I hear people say to each other, you don't know me to tell me I can't do this. You only know yourself to tell me I can't do this because you can't do it.
People are always self-reflecting. So they're only going to give you whatever it is that they give to themselves. That's why it's very important who you have in your circle, right? Very important. The people I have in my circle, they know that everything that I say, I'm going to complete it. And 9 times out of 10, I'm going to take it even higher, right? People that really believe in who you are, that have a sense and stand on integrity no matter what, right? Doing what you say you're going to do, especially when nobody's looking, right? Not giving up on yourself. And understanding that on this journey of life, you're the only one who can restrict yourself.
Yes.
Don't allow other people to place these words in your psyche, right? You should really be intentional with what you say. You know,
Yes.
the people that just talk a lot, yet they're not actually making any statements. They're not making any points. They just want to hear themselves talk.
Yes.
Yeah, those are the ones that are not even able to quite really listen, to receive information and then apply it. So be mindful of who you keep around you. Be mindful that you have people that are lifting you up because they're lifting themselves up, that they are doing the work for themselves. So of course, anything that you bring to their table, they're going to want to support because they also see the vision and they believe in you.
And be mindful of the word no. I tell my kids all the time.
Oh,
That's only one person that said it.
mm.
There's 50 other people out there that will say yes.
I'm starting to translate. Anytime I hear no, I hear it as not now.
Or not you, or meaning like
Right, or not you, not now, and that's okay.
But sometimes it's the person who tells me no is like, okay, you're just not the person that's going to say yes. But there's, what if it 6 billion people in this world? You can't let now that one no defeat you and feel that this is it. This one person said no, or these two people said no. No, you got to pivot and find another way to find those people that will say yes.
You know what? I got so many no's when I started off on this journey. I took all of those. I gave myself a yes. Check. Oh, this school doesn't want to let me in. Oh, this publisher thinks my characters are too African. Oh, you know, this organization doesn't think I've done this long enough. I'm not a sure bet. Yes, yes, yes. I am going to be in this space. I am claiming this space. I'm allowing myself the permission to walk in my life purposely.
And you know what a good thing you said. I watch a lot of mediocre people, not judging at all, because everyone has their purpose.
Yes.
They actually believe in themselves more than the people who are like excellent people sometimes tend to overthink or feel like they need to be perfectionists. I meet some regular people, even with interviews, and I'm like, wow, like you have all these people, like. So it's really the belief in yourself. It's really you feeling you believe in yourself, and the audience like gravitates to that.
Absolutely, you know, that confidence. It's that confidence, you know. And if you have the results to show for it, eventually it's going to manifest because you're dedicating yourself every day intentionally through actionability. You're going to end up producing some results. So when people start to talk to me, oh, I want to partner up and do this, I want to partner up and do that, I'm like, okay, it sounds good. Let me look at your results.
Yeah.
Let me look at your results. And if the results, AKA the blessings that are there, then I know that you're doing the work. And if the blessings are not there, the results are not quite there, then I know you may have some more time on your journey until, you know, what you're saying actually lines up with what you're doing. And that's okay too. We're all here journeying. This, once again, it's not a competition. My path is my path. Your path is your path. What's important is, can you be dedicated to walking on your narrow path, regardless of the storms that are coming in, regardless of the distractions and the noise that are circling around you? Will you dedicate yourself to yourself? Will you love yourself amidst all the no's? And I think
that's what schools need to start changing their curriculums. Mm-hmm. I think the curriculums we have in school is so outdated.
It is. It's not made for us.
It's not made for these kids to actually believe in themselves and actually win in life. It's meant to really look. Nothing wrong with teachers. I have friends who are teachers, but schools. I told my kids, school has taught kids just how to be followers. Like school teaches kids how to take direction, and if you don't take the direction, that means you're being disobedient.
Exactly.
School does not allow kids to be just free with their thinking, free with their creativity. Mm-hmm. School stifles a child's purpose sometimes.
Absolutely.
Because
and remember, they're only going to teach you what they want you to know. I always tell my children that school's here to teach you what they want you to know. I'm here to teach you what they don't want you to know, right? And that's your true self. They should also be teaching emotional intelligence. There's so many children that don't even know how to communicate, don't know how to pivot, don't know how to make mental shifts, right? Don't understand how to process different stressors.
Especially now with the texting. Some kids can't even have a 5-minute conversation with you because they only are typing all the time and they don't even know how to look you in the eye.
Absolutely.
and really have a conversation. And school needs to start taking heed of that
Mm-hmm.
and start normalizing like communication classes, because that's what
Yeah.
communication classes will help you sell yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Will
Understanding
help
how
you.
not to run with a story in your mind and open the space to get clear with people. Is it a possibility that we can get to this? Giving them the actual tools. Well, that's what we're here for. We're
Yeah,
showing
and
them that
that's
there's another way.
why we are so passionate about the kids, because there's so much that needs to be done.
Yes.
And our voices need to be heard, and kids need to understand that there are people out there like you who care about them, like truly care about them and care about them succeeding.
Listen, I love all the youth as if they're my own. And for people that aren't dedicated to this work, that may seem like outlandish of a statement. However, it matters to me. Every child matters to me. I wish someone would have taken that time. Yet I got to a point where I was so tired of wishing. I was tired of wishing birthday cakes and it never coming true. That I'm here to fulfill all those wishes. I don't want a child to have to go through suffering. I don't want a child to have to become a broken adult. I don't want a child to have to feel lost, to feel like they have no support from their community. This whole village mentality has completely gone away.
I
Our
know.
neighbors should be paying attention to our kids just as much as our teachers, just as much as, you know, the school bus driver, the crossing guard, the person on the corner. No one's paying attention anymore. And so many of our children are getting lost in the system, lost in the cracks, and whatever happens to them happens to them. They're getting kidnapped and smuggled, either physically or mentally, over here
And what
getting
about the
body
drugs?
snatched.
What about the fentanyl? What about
Absolutely. There's over
there's,
like 50,000 kids that die from drug overdoses every day on regular prescription pills.
that
Let's
means no
talk
one is
about
paying
it.
attention. Even the
No
ones
one
that are
is
taking
paying
the
attention.
prescription pills. No one's taking attention. That's why I love growing up in an era of it takes a village.
Yes.
Because even if my parents had 2 or 3 jobs, the whole neighborhood was paying attention. The whole
Yes.
neighborhood was the eye. And even if my parents didn't have this experience, I can go down to a neighbor that had that experience, and they would sit and teach you. And it was, I don't know what's going on with society, but I think it's broken down. And I don't want to be negative about it, but it's broken down to shits unless we do something about it to make it better, and that's why I'm losing hope for our youth sometimes, because if adults don't get it together, then what hope does our youth have? I went to my kids' class and all the essays was about stop with the adult fighting. The adults are fighting. Adults are fighting. I was like, wow, are the adults listening to the kids? All the bickering, all the putting each other's down, all the name calling, all of this. Your child is looking at this. The youth is looking at this and saying, wait a minute, but you are expecting so much of us. But we're expecting so much from you guys. And you guys are not taking the responsibility of being the utmost human citizen on this earth. Because before we are any race, we are all humans.
Listen, there's only one race, the human race. Don't believe in that lie. Okay? Don't believe in that lie. And we have become so disconnected. That was something that COVID really magnified, right? Because it wasn't social distancing, it was just physical distancing. And if anything, it was showing how divided we are, how disconnected we are from each other's lives. People in the same household, family members didn't even know what was going on with one another. Spouses rekindling marriages that were, on their last leg. People not even knowing who their children are or what's happening with them at a certain point in their life, how they're feeling with school, what's going on with their friends, how are they feeling about themselves. Actually having conversations, sitting down and having family dinners, finding out what your interests are. What are the things you're struggling with right now? What are some things? Sometimes you just need someone to listen. You just need someone to be present with you, to give you their time. For someone to give you their time, because time is such a rarity. That's the only thing we can't get back.
Is that what you needed as a child? When you felt that you didn't have no value, what did you need? When you speak to your younger self, what did you need from an adult to make you feel like you were worthy?
I needed someone's time. I needed someone to take interest in me and let me know that I was worth it. I had that when I first came into this world, but then moving to this Western society, because I was so different and I didn't fit in a box and I didn't speak the language and I had so many cultural things I had to now learn that was different here. I was seen as an outsider. I was kind of casted out. And my teachers, even my ESL teacher, said I would never speak English well enough. I had to teach myself English because she gave up on me. And I'm an award-winning speaker, right? So I had to dedicate myself to myself. If I would have had an adult that would have done that for me, outside of my parents who are working 3-4 jobs to now keep up with the overhead of the demand because their degrees were not honored in this country. So they had to start completely from the bottom. It would have shifted me in such a way where who I am now would have started 20 years ago. I would have never had that disconnect. There are probably some steps of suffering I would have missed. Yet, I don't take any of it back. I don't lament on the things that I've been through. I know everything has happened for me to become who I am today. And if I've had to undergo everything I've undergone in order for me to realize what my life's purpose is and to serve the youth in the way that I did, then I would do it 10 times over. 10 times over.
Wow. But you know what? I realize in life I have no regrets because I feel like if one thing changes, then everything else changes.
Absolutely. It's a
So
trickle effect. Yeah.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
even the
absolutely.
people who suffer, I always tell them, don't regret this point. You know how you win? You learn from this suffering and you do something about it so someone else doesn't have to suffer as you suffered. You
Absolutely.
do something about it because even if you went through this, you
Mm-hmm.
can do something to make sure someone else doesn't go through this. That is
Yeah.
the power of your win. Not
Yeah.
only about you, but it's about community. It's
Mm.
about you. It's about community. Like sometimes people feel like, oh my God, this happened to me. My life is over. No, find ways to get through it so you can be an example to someone else to let them know that your life is not over.
Right.
Your life is not over. And I need this world to be more of community, more of
Mm.
caring for one another, regardless if we know of one another.
Right.
You know, be kind to one another. I
Mm.
want the name calling to stop because our kids are looking at us as like, if you feel this way about this adult, why are you mad at me if I'm bullying this child in high school? Why are you mad at me, mom? Like I hear you say things to
Yep.
adults all day
They're
long.
perpetuating the same thing. Once that's what we were talking about, getting stuck in those loops. They're repeating what they see. Right? We think it's acceptable, so they continue it.
So I want people to know where they can find you so we can go on because you have your books, where they can find your books, you're a motivational speaker. How can
Yes.
people get you to come to schools to speak? You have a curriculum. How can people get their hands on the curriculum? So let's start talking about that right now until we dive into something else.
Absolutely. So you can follow me on all social platforms at Niyah Zuri, NIYAH_Zuri, ZURI. You can go to my website, www.annanyakana.com. You can get the books. You can get the music. You can download some free resources. You can drop me an email. We can talk about how we can partner up to bring me to your school, bring me to your barbecue, partner up with any organizations, community organizations, nonprofits, corporations. I'm here. I'm there. I'm outside. I stay outside. I love partnering with people that are here as light workers that are here doing this impact work. So whomever, whenever, please, I would love to continue this work. My dedication to the youth is not stopping. It's not a one-stop thing. It's not a one-lane thing. I'm really about this life, and there's no changing it for me.
So let's transition. So how'd you find out you can sing? What happened?
I've been singing my entire life. Music
I
is
know.
actually my first love. Music is my first love, and I was in an amazing music program that's now actually cut from my former school that I attended here in the US. And music gave me my voice before I had a voice. It allowed me to express myself, both to arrange music. I played clarinet, guitar, piano, violin, drums, pretty much everything. And being able to sing certain words as I was practicing my English, it gave me an outlet. It helped me deal with my emotions. It helped me deal with like the traumas in my environment because I grew up in a pretty rough neighborhood and I was seeing a lot. And I have photographic memory, so these visuals were always staying with me. And then I was signed, later on when I was in my adolescence, but I walked away from that because of some other crazy experiences that were happening. And I didn't feel that the music industry was really for me at the time. I wanted to make music that was impactful, yet I also had my business sense. And I wasn't going to let anybody rob me of my publishing or try to distort my image to be somebody that I wasn't. So coming back full circle now, I'm now a full-fledged producer. So I produced the soundtrack, The World of Niyah Zuri, which is available everywhere on all streaming platforms, and really empower my women producers, my women artists, and understanding that we can create positive music, nothing that you don't have to, bleep down when you're in the car with your kids, because there's all this explicit messaging, and nothing that's building them up. Everything you hear, everything you feel, all the vibrations are meant for you. Everything you watch in the film that eventually will be broken out and produced into a 20-part cartoon series, and once again, bridging that gap between home and school, this is all here for you. I'm giving you this work. So whether you're hearing me singing or hearing me talking or reading the books or reading a write-up or a publication, I just want everyone to know that you're worth my time. I'm dedicated to this movement. I'm dedicated to everybody becoming purposeful in their lives, especially the youth and the communities and the families that are here birthing these youth. Just as we show up for ourselves and one another, let's make sure that we're showing up for our kids. Number one, we have to show them how to be that MVP in their life, how to claim their life, how to architect it, and how to orchestrate, how to go over obstacles and understand that every hurdle is just going to strengthen their bodies, strengthen their minds, strengthen their legs. And as they continue on in life, they don't have to ever feel defeated. They know that they can, awaken that inner champion within them.
So would you advise anyone who wants to be a singer these days to go independent?
Absolutely. I feel like the power is now back to the artists. Whether you're a musician, an artist, a producer, the power, is no longer to the labels that are determining your future and telling you, you have to sell X amount of sales and you have to look like this and sound like this. And, saying these type of explicit lyrics. Definitely be independent, yet focus on the art. Focus on curating your sound. Focus on expressing yourself. The numbers, the people, the followers, the supporters, that's all going to come out there. But really focus on your craft.
So you have a music video out.
Yes.
How hard is it to do a music video? Like, actually do the treatments, the story.
Girl.
Let's dive into that.
It took all of me. Yeah. So shout out to my girls, BH Steppers, that were featured in my first music video. This is Our Day. Streaming everywhere. It's going crazy. It hasn't even been out for that long. I just released it a few weeks ago. We're almost already over 20,000 views. So it's growing and people are tapping in. I'm super excited about that. I did direct it and creative direct it. So I'm always wearing like all the hats of, in front and behind the camera. I knew the vision of what I wanted it to be. And I knew I wanted to film it in Newark. I had actually parked in this parking lot over a year ago, and I saw this beautiful mural up on the wall. And I said, I'm going to do something special here. I don't know exactly what it's going to be, but I'm going to do something special. Then I started mentoring this amazing group of girls from Bayonne High School, and they're a step team that were inspiring me. And as we were building, I said, you know what? You're going to be my first music video when the soundtrack is done. And you know what? I'm going to highlight Jersey. And you know what? I know the exact place that I want it to happen. So, you have to pick the right time of day. You have to keep in mind if you're shooting during daylight, right? If not, anybody that you have participating in the video, it was really important for me to spotlight all of the girls to make sure that they had, a few seconds, a few minutes to really shine. And then the overall messaging of what everyone is going to watch. This isn't just a, hi, let me smile in your face and sing and dance for you, right? This is really a cinematic portrayal of a black and white environment that has a lot of circumstantial issues, yet how we can choose to be the vibrance, right? And fulfilling our life and bringing that splash and color to our environment and changing it, right? That we are the change, that we are the most vital thing in our own storyline. So many people don't understand that you should be the main character in your own life, in your own story. You're giving all of your time and your efforts and all of your thinking, processing to others and not in writing yourself out of your own life. Writing yourself out, you are the main character. You really have to define your own narrative. So I would definitely say for anybody that is creatively thinking of, putting together any sort of music video or any sort of production, definitely have a messaging behind it. Make sure you want people to feel and invoke a certain emotion that will inspire them to take that time and really sit with themselves. Because we can watch videos all day. And even at the end of the music video, I even put in a behind the scenes of me talking to the girls about pivoting and how important it is to pivot out of your own way so you don't block your blessings, not holding on so tightly to the things you feel that need to happen when they need to happen, but allowing for the space for God to move, for the universe to bring things to you. And instead of you being so firm and thinking that there's only one way to, there's not one way to do things. There are infinite possibility of ways to do things, infinite possibility of people to work with and connect with, and an infinite possibilities of things that you can complete in your life. So don't limit yourself to a singular thing, a singular person, or a singular way.
And you are so right. And that's why I'm happy this generation has the social media platforms, because they no longer need a publicist. They don't no longer need an A&R. You can actually promote yourself. You can
Absolutely.
that's how these kids are winning. I mean, they have the opportunity. And when you talk about kids entrepreneur, most of these kids can be like they're making millions.
Yes.
Being entrepreneurs, like knowing what they want to do and actually executing it with the in the palm of their own hand.
In the palm. But listen, I have a kid a year ago that bought his mother a $350,000 house down in Georgia, that originally from New York, because he took one of my kidpreneur programs in his schools from printing T-shirts. He ended up branching it out to like a whole enterprise. It's possible. It's definitely possible.
Wow. You know what I see right now? I see you. You know what would be so cool what schools can have, where they can have a course from first grade, you know, with your curriculum, like how to be an entrepreneur. Not teach me how to work for someone, but teach me how can I excel and work for myself.
Yes, be a CEO in your own life.
Be a CEO, and you learn so much more when I tell my kids all the time, why do you want to be a follower? Because people don't pay attention to followers. I said, make sure you are a leader.
Yes.
And have people follow you. And my kids always go, oh yeah, Mommy, you're so right. I was like, you don't have to follow nothing. You make sure that you're the best human being on this earth, doing something so spectacular that you have people inspired by you, following you, want to be you. And then that's what you should want to become.
Absolutely.
The word follower drives me insane sometimes, because it sounds like we're sheep. And we're just going like this, and we're just following and not thinking for ourselves.
A word that drives me crazy is influencer. I can't take that word. They're like, oh, Anna, you're an influencer. I'm like, oh, no, I am not an influencer. I am an inspirationalist. There's a difference between influence and inspiration. Influence is, this is the only way. You need to buy this. You need to do it like this. You don't have any options. The decision is made. Whereas inspiration is, here are all your options, right? Here's everything that you can have access to. Choose the best choice that is for you. Make the choice.
I think we have a new word in the dictionary. Because I never thought about it that way, but you're right, because an influential person only does just show it one way and tell everyone to follow this way.
Correct.
Instead of understanding your followers are different people, different personalities, different backgrounds, and there's always more than one way to skin the cat.
We skinning cats now?
No, we're not skinning cat. It's like an old saying, but meaning that I try to tell my kids, don't only think of life as just a one-way street. You know, because that's what people want you to think is a one-way street. So when there's a block there, you feel like it's the end of the road, right?
And you're stuck.
But there's always ways to get around that one-way street. You can go up the hill or go around the hill. I try to tell my kids that there's other ways to get through something, and it's not just one way. So even if someone tells you, no, you're never going to go to college, you're never going to be this, you're just going to be this. We're in a society right now that I can honestly say you could be anything you want to be. Period. And I tell kids that all the time. I don't care your skin color. I don't care your background. I don't care if you're an immigrant. I don't care if your IQ is whatever, the lowest IQ. You can be whatever you want to be, because of this being in the palm of your hand. This phone right here, you dictate where you want your life to go. And I tell kids that all the time.
Yes, no you have to get activated. You can definitely be anything that you want to be, yet you have to get activated in your life, or you'll be nothing of what you could be.
Wow. And how do you get activated? What are the steps you can tell kids of how to get their body and their mind thinking of a way of on a powerful, like a powerful, like I'm looking here and I need to go there. How do we train our kids? How do we make them see and feel their power? Because when you hear people tell you all the time, you're just a kid, you're just a kid, you're just a kid, meaning that you're nothing, not really nothing, but you don't know nothing, you don't know no better. When you constantly hear that all the time, how as a child will you find the power within you? Because the world is pouring so much doubt of your ability because of how youthful you are.
Well, I would say to get activated, you need to claim your life. You need to make a statement within yourself of who you are and who you want to be. You have to understand that you should never be dimming your light to make other people feel comfortable, right? You should be charging forth. To not limit yourself because of possible fears. That fear isn't real. It's just an emotion that you assign value to in your life, right? False evidence appearing real, that only you can stop yourself from even starting. And really quieting, we were talking about that noise before, really quieting the noise of what's around you. You quiet it by limiting the people around you, being mindful of who you have around you, the things that you access, the social media platforms that you're scrolling and looking. What things are you giving your time to? You really need to do an assessment. You need a spiritual detox. Cut out things and cut out people that are not serving you now and that are not serving you to now build up to the next level. And with that dedication every day to become disciplined. I'm telling you, discipline is something that people are becoming so lackadaisical over these days.
And consistency matters.
To be disciplined in your life, you need to be consistently putting in the work towards yourself. And if you can do all of those things, well, then you'll see the growth. And then people who knew you a year ago or even a month ago say, wow, you're such a different person. Wow, I didn't know you could do X, Y, and Z. Wow, I never would have thought. Sure, you never would have thought, yet I knew that I could complete it. I just needed to get people who never would have thought I could do it away from me.
So their circle matters.
Your circle definitely matters.
I call it arranged friendships with my kids. They think I'm crazy. I'm like, no, you're not going to be friends with that person. No, you're going to be friends with this person, because it's not that there's something wrong with the person, but I try to explain to them, you need to be around people who are like-mindedness.
Yes.
If you have goals, if you see yourself X, Y, and Z, you need to align yourself with those people, because sometimes the negative will pull you easier to go that way than the positive is able to pull the negative up. Do you understand? Like, it's easier to do the bad things. It's easier. It's easier to be home and not do nothing and just let your life just waste away. It's easy. It's no effort. Right? It's harder to like actually put the grind in and put the work in and hustle. That takes time. I tell my kids, please appreciate that nothing is going to be given to you. You're going to have to work hard for it. And it's going to be hard, but it's worth it at the end.
Always.
You will have a story to tell, a legacy to leave, instead of you just saying that you just stayed home and didn't do nothing for 55, 60, 80 years of your life.
Oh, I can't even imagine that. Well, I'll say this before we run out of time. Thank you for being the incredible mother that you are. Thank you for being a dedicated friend and sister out here in this world.
Because let me tell you something. You are right about women. We have to start. I know we always say this, but I saw a meme one time. The worst people are people who push women empowerment because they're the meanest women. And I'm like, I really don't want that to be out there. I know how we talk about women empowerment and helping each other. I don't want people to feel that women empowering others on the low are like mean to each other. Because sometimes it's a perception out there that we talk a good talk, but in real life, we're not really empowering each other or helping each other. And that's why I love you so much, because you lead by example. Your character exemplifies how you feel. And even though you're beautiful outside, you're really, honestly, the real gem is your heart is beautiful inside. And that's why I need kids to understand. Stop with looking at the materialistic stuff and thinking that this is going to be satisfying. No, it's not. What is longevity? It's what's in the inside. Because my mama used to tell me, Danny, you're going to get wrinkles one day, but your heart will always be a good heart. Look for those people. Look for those people with the good hearts, because that's not something you learn. It's something that you're just born with. And I want to tell you right now, you were born with it before you were even born with it.
Thank you.
But what God did was God put you through those trials so you can find it and pour that heart into other hearts who couldn't find it. So that is your purpose, and that's what you do for the youth. You pour your heart that is filled into other hearts that sometimes might not be filled, but you bring that to them. You bring, because every time I'm up, but you fill me up with good stuff. You know what I mean?
I don't know any other way to be. And you're making me, thank you for pouring into me, because you're making me tear up over here. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for valuing what I do. You know, this isn't like glamorous work. Everybody, you know, I don't do this work to make millions of dollars. I don't do this work to be on all the stages and all the red carpets. Like, those things are here because of who I am. And I get my profit from my purpose work complete. I'm here about this impact work. That's what leads me every day. How can I make an impact? How can I further drive the impact of my partners in purpose that are doing the same? Because I know I can add value, and we can boost this up and take it to a whole nother level, right? Not being controlled by my ego, and understanding, once again, it's not a competition. Yes, I'm a leader, yet I'm a servant leader. I serve as I lead.
And understand this, because God just put this in my spirit. You might not have made $1 million, but you have saved 1 million lives.
Thank you.
And that matters more to where the trajectory of this life is going through to than money that you could lose and might mean nothing. You understand what I mean? You saved 1 million souls. Those 1 million souls will hopefully save another 1 million.
There we go. And it's going to be continuous. And you know what the best part is? I'm just getting started, baby.
I know. You will get those millions of dollars. You'll get the money at the end.
I have so much more in store. Whoever's uncomfortable out here. Okay.
Yes.
I've got so much more in store. I'm not limiting myself. I'm not limiting my possibilities of how this movement's going to grow. Niyah Zuri Nation, we in the thousands now. We used to be a tribe. It's going to be hundreds of thousands and millions. And we're going to continue this growth. Impact. Child after child saved, one life at a time.
And I'm here, sister, to tell you, I am so proud of you, sis. I am bringing you your flowers. Please, anyone who wants to know more about Zuri, just tell all your handles again for the audience out there who be watching.
Yes. Okay, so you can find me on all social media platforms at Niyah, NIYAH_Zuri, ZURI. You can find all my information, all my content, all of my resources for you and for your children, for your school, for your community at www.annanyakana.com.
And thank you for coming on. I'm proud of you, sis. Everyone, thank you for watching, and see you next week. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Peace.
Bye.
Later.